Thank you for watching Lira Scoop. We are glad you are here.
Thank you, Patriots. You've made it. Thank you.
We now having God 9, being commanded by Herbert. Herbert, thank you very much. Thank you very much for leading that team well. Now we on God 13, being commanded by Nan Azatan.
I want to take this opportunity to welcome everybody to Uganda Technical College Lira. Chief guest, this patriotism training, I want to take this opportunity to thank the President of the Republic of Uganda to have thought about the in terms of ensuring that they learn that Uganda needs to be owned by them as the youth who we normally portray as the future leaders. I want to thank the First Lady, Minister of Education and Sports, for ensuring that these programs are entrenched in our programs, academic programs. And in a special, I want to thank Commissioner Patriotism Corps of Uganda for organizing and coordinating these activities all over the country, especially to us, the institutions of learning. As they came in, I came to learn to summarize the importance of patriotism. It is love for oneself, love for the community, and love for the country. Because if you have love for yourself, love for the community, and love for the country, all the other things are just embraced within there. You will not have hatred, no mudslinging, no whatever we have even been talking about when we're in the office can't happen. It can't. Yeah, it can't. So then among the other things that we learned, the participants were taught the political history. I have had one of the trainers here referring to some of us of advanced age as senior youth. So we are no longer old boys and old men, but we are senior youth. And the other thing that I came to learn is that the youth should not just be a number. You remember that proposition? That should never just be what? And therefore it should be what? What they meant was, we should not just be generalized. For example, here I would say chief guest, chief whip. Then I talk the others. Then at the end, if you are just a number, I just say ladies and. So you should never be that in that group of the category of ladies and what? You should have your position mentioned. Not in the group of the ladies and gentlemen. Then the other dimension was what? And not just being a number. Can somebody remember? Okay, that's just enough. So, chief guest, Uganda Technical College Lira is destined to become a center of excellence in road construction and highway maintenance. And we want to thank government for all the support. We have all the infrastructure. We have all it takes to ensure that we move and then fulfill that obligation of becoming a center of excellence in road construction. However, there are quite a number, there are just a few challenges we still have. One of which, if we are to become a complete road unit, construction unit in the country, we need a low bed to carry our equipment. That one is still missing. Then the other one which is missing is a tire roller. And the last one is a paver. Those big machines that you see putting on the last coat of the tarmac on the tarmac roads. If we go to those three, we can become one of the best companies in the country to do our own roads using our students. So those are the key things that we are lacking. Chief guest, there was complete renovation, complete upgrading of this institution in terms of infrastructure, where we got the new administration block, which is a very good office, Whoever comes here, sometimes they tease me, they say, you are holding a president's office. And I feel very proud because, you know, it is a very big office. Then we got infrastructure in terms of the staff quarter, which is housing 8 staff. It is storage. Then 2 hostels, each one to accommodate about 320 students. Then 10 classrooms. Then the complete road unit, with the exception of those 3. Now, only in the backyard, you find very old buildings. We have about 10 structures here which are still asbestos roofed, and you know asbestos is hazardous. So our appeal is that some funds are availed so that we renovate all of this. Then we become a complete new center of excellence that really dignifies the name Center of Excellence. Because when you are in my office, you may think you are in a different world. You come behind here, you see different things altogether. So we want to change completely. So that is our major challenge. Now, Chief Whip, government has invested a lot of money in this institution, but has not addressed the security status of the institution. We had a chain link, but being in a town, when you repair 5 minutes, the next 5 minutes somebody has already opened and is passing. The entire area is porous. We need some funds, especially even if you just got a block making machine. We can make the blocks ourselves, build ourselves using our students. Because we can build the wall fence. We have tried to start using some small funds from the ministry, which comes for real life projects. And I think we have so far put up about 300 meters of the wall fence. But the land is still too vast. We have about 60 something hectares of land, and therefore we still need a lot of materials. But we cannot buy these materials. If we are availed with a block making machine, we can just do this thing ourselves. And within a year, I promise, would have gone all around. So that is our major, bigger prayer. I know you did for us a lot, especially when you are under the Ministry of Education and Sports. But I know you can still whisper to those people. As Chief Whip, after all, you are the overall disciplinarian in the what? In the house. So I want to pray that you whisper to your friends that UTC Lira has only 3 major challenges. Cause, murder. Cause, murder. Cause, murder. Cause, murder. Thank you very much. Allow me ride on the protocol already established, but to in a very special way thank my sister, Commissioner, Patriotism Secretariat under State House, Commissioner Ellen Seku, who invited me here to preside over the pass out of you, the Patriots, at Uganda Technical College, Lira. Asante sana. I also want to thank that entire Secretariat under State House, but more importantly, His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, that as the leader, he saw that the country kind of was degenerating, and he deliberately established a National Patriotism Secretariat, which is currently under State House, to keep reminding Ugandans of the journey we have moved, of the gains we have attained as a country, but also for us to chart a way forward. Asante sana. I also want to thank your very, very able facilitators I have seen. Asante sana. I want to thank the team leader, UTC Lira, for allowing this training to take place here. Let me say this. On a very normal day, if the principal had told you, the students, to come at this point in time, which is about 10 minutes to 1, just to come and sit the way you are seated, I strongly believe that there would be so many points of objections
So many points of objections. But now, having undergone the patriotism training, you can see the sun is so hot. Whereas in your memorandum, one of your challenges were interruptions of your training by rain. But today, on the pass out day, the sun is exceedingly hot. But as disciplined patriots, you have decided to sit. Asante sana. That is the discipline. I attained this similar training when I was a student in Senior 5. And for your information, I am a former national student leader of Uganda and a former national youth leader of Uganda. So that time, Uganda National Students Association organized a similar training at the National Leadership Institute in Chamkwanzi. Ours could have even been much more rougher than yours, because then our chief instructor was Major Kakoza Mutale. Some of you are young. And he took us through the military drills. I remember at one point we were made to crawl for about 100 meters. After crawling, when we got up, or he gave instructions for us to get up, he said, "You are dirty but alive. You are dirty but what? Alive. You can be smart when you are dead on the what? On the ground." Those were the drills of our time. I want to thank the Patriotism Secretariat in partnership with very well-trained facilitators, both from government, from the state, and more importantly, from one of the most disciplined armies in the world, the Uganda People's Defense Forces. I want to thank those facilitators who took you through a number of topics. When I was invited, in my invitation letter, I was requested to talk about 4 things: patriotism, community development, ideology, leadership. And I want to restrict my pass-out speech to those 4 areas. Ladies and gentlemen, today you now qualify to be called a patriot. I know they have taken you through the basics and the fundamentals of a patriot. But you cannot call yourself a patriot when you have not understood the trajectory that your country has gone through, especially from the time we got independence to where we are. It is only until you understand the pain that this country has gone through, it is only until you understand the many leaders that this country changed, that is when you will like your country. It is only when you understand that the peace we take for granted in Uganda, when you go somewhere else, you may not. If we tell UPDF to use all their helicopters to pick you and take you and drop you in the jungle of Somalia, I believe before you are taken from here, if there is an Akibwa, you will take off from here at a terrific speed. Just to hear that they are taking us to Somalia. Why? There is no peace in Somalia. You will take off. But now here we are, calling ourselves patriots. Patriotism is love, that selfless love for your country. In other jurisdictions, you don't even need to teach patriotism. I was in Japan with Uganda Team Olympic. I saw the level of patriotism by the Japanese children. A young Japanese child is aided by street lights. After crossing the street, turns back and bows to the street light. That is the Japanese discipline. That is the Japanese discipline. For those who love football, you watch how they behave in World Cup. When everybody has left the stadium, the Japanese would be there to pick the leftovers, to clean the stadium. That is the patriotism we are talking about. We are not even 50 or 20 or 10% of the discipline and the love for the country that I saw in Japan. The details one day I will tell another group, not your group. But in the case of Uganda, I saw a topic here about the political history of Uganda. Many of you could be younger than me. I am already midway of floor 4 of my life. I see you, you must be in floor 3 and majority in floor 2 of your life. But it is important for the history of Uganda to be re-emphasized. 1962, Uganda attained independence. By then, we used to fly the flag of Britain, called the British Union Jack. On that day of independence, the British Union Jack was lowered down, and our national colors, black, yellow, red, was raised up, symbolizing independence. Shortly after independence, there was a crisis between the Prime Minister then and the Kabaka. That was the showdown. That was 1966. In the same year, the constitution that had been promulgated in 1962 was suspended. That is what gave rise to what you hear, the pigeonhole constitution. Members of parliament simply woke up one day, went to their pigeonholes and found something called the pigeonhole constitution, not debated in parliament. That is our history. 1971, there was a coup. Around 1978, we are told President Lule was 68 years old, and he led Uganda for 68 days. What a coincidence. A 68-year-old assuming leadership at the helm of President of Uganda, then he leads for 68 days. The most unforgotten history of Uganda is the history of 1980. And I do not know whether that facilitator of the political history of Uganda told you about that. At one point in 1980, Uganda was so hot that one person or one individual could not lead it as a president. They had to agree that 3 people would sit and lead the country. They were called the titular head of state. Under legal notice number 5 of 1980, President Museveni was part of the wing called the Military Commission. Then, he was the vice chairperson. But there were 3 people who led Uganda, and they must be in the... In fact, when we are making a calendar for Uganda, normally when I enter offices and I don't find the titular heads of state under legal notice number 5 of 1980, one of them was the son of Lango, the late Muzee Wacha Olwol. He was put there with 2 other justices, Justice Nyamuchoncho and Justice Musoke. 3 of them would sit and take a decision now taken by President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Under the constitution, the executive authority is conferred on him. But then 3 people would sit, meaning this country was too hot. For those of you who are from Lao, Ichoha, that is the potatoes we normally roast. Normally when you remove it from the soil, it is too hot. You want to heat it, you have the appetite, but it is too hot for you to eat. That was the situation in Uganda then. So it needed 3 people. That history is one of the part of Ugandan history that we don't talk about to the young people in order for us to understand where we are from and where we are. 1986, the National Resistance Army took over power, now transformed into UPDF. The UPDF, the then NRA, and the political wing called the NRM are twins. In our culture of Lango, one is Opio, the other one is Ochen. Or one is Apio, the other one is Achen. They are twins. The NRA, NRM, which is now UPDF, NRM. They are twins. And the way we work like twins. So friends, now that we are talking about patriotism, someone talked about the 1995 Constitution. When our forefathers were promulgating the Constitution of Uganda 1995, I want to implore you, even if you are scientists, you normally leave this for us, literature students and history students, to read. For you, you want to know about this and that, civil engineering, electrical engineering. But you cannot be an electrical engineer without knowing the history of your country. You cannot be a civil engineer without knowing the history of your country. Very, very important for you to know. That will shape your future. In the 1995 Constitution, when you read through the preamble is like the introduction. The people of Uganda made a commitment to the extent that it is captured in the preamble. We, the people of Uganda, recalling our history, which has been characterized by political and constitutional instability, then it flows. But there is where we made a commitment, committed to building a better future. And this is part of our commitment to building a better future. I know, for those of you who come from Lang or Teso, West Nile, we tasted war. We know. These streets of Lira city now, in the evening, would be rooms for people to sleep during the LRA, during Lakwena, during the Lumulum days. Many of you are young, but this is what we went through. During the Karamojong cattle rustlers peak season, people would run to Lira town here. But at least now, we are enjoying the peace. So this is where we are coming from, and this is where we are, ladies and gentlemen. But the most important reason why this training is important is that in that same constitution, under what they call the National Objectives and Directive Principles of State Policy, number 29, it talks about the duties of a Ugandan citizen, you and me. Number 1, we are duty bound by the 1995 Constitution of Uganda to be patriotic and loyal to our country, Uganda. That is contained in our national constitution, national objective number 29. So we are duty bound. So when we come here, we are like Christians who have gone to church, or Christians who go to church every Sunday, for us to remind ourselves of the story, of the life, and of the works executed by our Lord Jesus Christ. We are reminding ourselves that we are duty bound to be patriotic and loyal to Uganda under our national constitution. So that is something I can add under patriotism. When we come to leadership, leadership is not about title, it's not about position. Leadership is about going the way. You will go back to your villages. They will know you have gone through this patriotism training. What leadership will you be showing? What way will you be showing? Leadership is about influence. Leadership is about guiding our others. Leadership is about inspiring others. That is now your cardinal responsibility, to guide, to inspire, to motivate, to show the way. Because you are now more or less the pioneer patriots of Uganda Technical College, Lira. Because I've seen in your memo, you are calling for the establishment of the Patriotism Club at UTC Lira. You already members. In fact, it is you now to go and elect yourselves in 2 positions of leadership. who will be your president or chairman of Patriotism Club of UTC Lira. And you carry on the mantle. Leaders come, leaders go. In leadership, all that you do in guiding, in inspiring people, it is geared towards achieving a shared vision. When you ask me what is the shared vision of the National Resistance Movement, because I'm the vice chairperson in charge of Northern Uganda, our shared vision is about peace, number one. And we must thank President Museveni as the Commander-in-Chief of the UPDF, President of Uganda, for ensuring that from north to central to east to western Uganda, internally, there is peace. Asante sana. Yongeza tena. Our shared vision number 2 as NRM under the leadership of President Museveni is development. Look at Lango, where President got Lango from. Despite the fact that we produced a 2-time president, did we have a university? Did we have a university under him in the 2 terms? The answer is no. Akibwa won gold medal in 1972. Under the leadership of our own, did we construct an Akibwa stadium? The answer is no. Under his leadership was Uganda Technical College transformed into a center of excellence for roads construction? The answer is no.
Thank you for watching Lira Scoop. We are glad you are here.